Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dr. Music Podcast. Once again, I have a very special guest with me today, Mark Nawara. Mark has been an important executive in the music business for more than 4 decades. In the early 90s, he started Pavement Music as part of BMG, lasted a little over 7 years before it was dissolved, and in 2012, along with partner Tim King, Mark would resurrect Pavement Music and Pavement Entertainment. The company is now one of the premier rock labels in the country, and it's home to acts like Soil, Plush, Puddle of Mudd, Candlebox, Ted Nugent. The list goes on and on and on. And one of those acts is The Outfit. And Mark just happens to be the drummer for The Outfit. And this Friday, the band will release their third full-length record called Go, which of course is on the Pavement Entertainment label. Funny how that happens.
By myself.
Yeah. Mark, always great to hang with you. Thanks for
Yeah,
being
man. Good to see you.
totally cool. This record, awesome, man. It's like the other ones. There's so much to offer with this band. Really cool. It takes me back to, I'm a big Cheap Trick fan. You guys covered Cheap Trick a couple of times over the years. Uh, it's right up that alley. It rocks hard. Straight classic rock. Um, it's that's what I mean. That's in your DNA, isn't it? That kind of thing.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was brought. Yeah, that's what I was brought up on, and never really left me. So it was always my type of music, and growing up on Cheap Trick, and local bands at that time, off Broadway, Pez Band. I mean,
Yeah.
uh, just gets in your blood, and you get into that pocket of music, and that's what we do, So
Yeah, oh, definitely. And I wear my love for Cheap Trick literally on my sleeve. You know, it's yeah, they were everything at the time, they're right up there with the Kiss and all that.
yeah,
And to bring that back and bring it into with a fresh new sound, I love what you guys are doing. Uh, Matt Mercado, familiar
yeah,
name for me,
yeah.
Chicago kid.
Great
Uh,
guy.
I remember Mind Bomb. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Before that, it was Daisy Chain. I don't know if you
Oh
remember that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely. A lot of nights at the Whale. Thirsty Whale, of course.
I
Our
tried to sign him back in the day, back in when they were Daisy Chain.
yeah,
I remember him coming to our office, like him and the band. We were trying to record him, trying to get him, but then they went through a name change or whatever happened. They ended up with Mercury
yeah.
Records. Yeah.
Wow, wow. Yeah. Just Matt Mercado engineers this record. I happened to see Matt with I think he was opening for Wasp in Super Mercado when he
Oh
had
yeah. Yeah.
just the guy's been in this area for a very long time, in the business for a very long time. Incredible engineer, I would say.
Yeah, the guy's so talented. I mean, we love working with him. We've done all three records with him, and we keep going back. I mean, because the guy really cares, and he gets it, and he knows what needs to be done. He'll bust on me when I'm playing drums. If it's not on the click exactly, he'll come in. He'll be but you got to get it on the click.
Yeah,
He's very intense. And he makes sure that everything's laying down right. And that gives it that polished sound, that I think we got. So
yeah. I
he,
mean, it's
he comes up with ideas too. He has a lot of good ideas. Creative guy.
saying that's that's important, man. There's a lot of bands now, especially because you can do it out of your bedroom. They're producing their own stuff and
Yep.
recording their own, which is really great that you have that
Yeah.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Uh, but to have a set of ears like Matt's
Mm.
that can kind of question what you're doing and make you look
Yep.
at it twice, that's a big ingredient.
Yeah. Yeah. He's great. We all love him, and we'll probably do the next record with him too, because
Yeah, why
why why change something that's not broke? Right.
Yep,
So, yep.
absolutely, absolutely. You got another guy you work with,
Yep.
Ulrich Wild.
Yeah.
Uh,
Ulrich Wild out of Los Angeles. Yeah. This guy is a monster.
oh man,
That's our little special potion, our ingredient. So what's
it's
working for us is Matt Mercado, engineering, laying the tracks down. and then we ship it off to Ulrich in Los Angeles, and he mixes it and masters it. Yeah.
Man, oh man. Yeah, I just spoke with Brendan Small
Mhm.
from Death Clock, Gene Hoglan too, who, I don't know that Brendan's worked with anybody but Ulrich Wild,
Yeah.
and yeah, this guy, Pantera, Static X, Breaking Benjamin, the
Stain,
list goes on with him.
White Zombie,
Yeah. Uh,
Oil. I mean, he's done, yeah, done
but
everybody.
the cool thing is you're hooked up with him, and you're really not
Right.
those bands.
Right.
But he gets it, and he
He gets
gets
it.
you in the place that you want to be. Was that
Exactly.
difficult at first when you were working with him?
Yeah, when we first started it, it took a while. We had a few mixes going back and forth, and then I think I called him and I just explained to him. I go, this is what we're looking to do. I go, Ulrich, think of Cheap Trick's first record, the debut record that Jack Douglas did.
Yep,
It's got a lot of balls. It's raw, and
you're
all the
right.
instruments are kind of up front. It's my favorite record. I mean, it's unbelievable. And then once I clued him in kind of on what we're honing in and trying to do, he sent back, one of the mixes and it was right up. This is it. We got it. We got it. Now he's like on autopilot. So we give him the stuff and, he's doing maybe 1, 2 passes of the mix before we approve it because he's got it locked in. He also came out to see us when we played the Whiskey in LA. And, we met him out there and, he's a great guy. He watched the whole set. He stood right in front of the stage, so
That's
he's
cool.
into it. He's a nice guy. And he's into it. He likes what we're doing. And, it's great to work with him. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, see
Incredible.
that's so important, man. When it's a chore to to
Yeah.
to work with a guy, or you're butting heads all the time. I see that so much. Talking to a lot of guys that
Yeah.
just, and I just talked to Tom Werman, who did a lot of those Cheap Trick records.
Oh
Uh,
man. I got a little history with that guy too.
oh, really? Yeah.
Warren, yeah. That's
Uh,
he was my favorite, back in the day. And he was the man, right?
oh man, so many great records. All the stuff.
Want to hear a story about him? Crazy story.
Yeah, yeah. Let's
Uh,
hear.
yeah. So back, way, way back when I was probably, I don't know, maybe 19. Um, we had our band going, me and my brothers, we had our band going, and we're doing demo tapes and doing all this stuff. And
Oasis, right?
yeah. And
Yeah,
I'm looking at Cheap Trick's albums. Oh yeah, Tom Werman, producer, looking at the back of the liner notes.
yeah.
So I dug up the guy's somehow I got his address. I don't know where I got it from. But I sent him a tape, and I was working a job in a photo studio at the time. It was my day job. And I was at my desk doing some work and my phone rings, right? And pick it up. Hey, this is Mark. He goes, hey, Mark, it's Tom Werman. I was
Oh,
like, what? What's up? He's like, hey, man, I got your tape and I hear some potential here. He goes, it's really good. What are you guys up to, And I was just freaked out, I'm like, oh, I said, we're, trying to get stuff happening. We're trying to get a deal, this and that. And right off the top of my head, I was just thinking, I got to make a move here. I go, hey, I'm going to be in Los Angeles next week. I wasn't, but
right. You are now.
right. Yeah. I said, you got any time we could sit down or something? He goes, oh, yeah, come on out to the house, come out to my house. I'm like, oh, all right. So I went out there with the guy who was managing us at the time, this guy, Wayne Gilpin. And we went out to LA and he invited us over to his house in Studio City. Went in there and we talked, shop and talking about the band and all that stuff. He showing me his new office he just built off the side of his house and uh, photos of Cheap Trick all over the place in the studio, this and that.
Cool.
And he's like, yeah, I think we could probably do something with you. I could produce you for my company, Julia's Music, and see if we can get a deal or maybe do something. But it never materialized. That was the meeting,
Really?
and after that, I could just never get him to execute. But I think he was so busy with all these projects he was working on
Right.
that it never, never worked out. Just never
Wow.
happened. But we got
Ah,
close.
yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, he,
Yeah.
he was, he was a great guy to talk to.
Yeah.
Really, really into it. Another guy, just really a passion for it, which was
Yeah.
pretty
And
cool.
now he's got a bed and breakfast, right? He's totally
Yeah, he
out of
sold
the
it
business.
actually. Yeah, he
Yeah.
is
Oh, he
out of
sold
the
it?
business. Yeah, he is out of the business. He's up that by that way. I think he's a couple blocks from the bed and breakfast that he had, and
Yeah,
he's just thrilled to death to be there. And he was yeah, just enjoying the golden
yeah,
years, which is
yeah,
pretty cool. Pretty cool. Uh, yeah, but you guys got passionate producers and engineers and working with you on this stuff. Um,
yeah.
did you give them any instruction going into the record? They both know you now,
Yeah.
but was there anything specific about this record, any intention with this particular set of songs that you wanted to change from the rest, or any instruction?
Really, yeah. The way we work it, our formula is basically Andy, our singer, will come up with a melody. He'll send it over. I'll listen to it, lay down the drums. Matt will listen to it. Mike will listen to it, and basically we'll rehearse it live, and then we'll figure it out, and then get into the studio and cut it. But no, we don't really go into like looking like oh, we want it to sound like this or that, or we just kind of do our thing. Each individual member, um, I think that's why the outfit kind of works, because each individual member has their own style of playing, and we're not trying to be somebody else or be anybody else. So Matt, my brother, plays the way he plays. I play drums the way I play. Gorman plays the way he plays, and Andy sings it. So sometimes in music, as you know, when you get a good combination of guys together, it just, it works,
Yep.
and I think that's what it is. It's the chemistry. So pulling each guy together brings the chemistry and makes the outfit, output what we do, basically.
Yeah, and it's really all about chemistry. It's like anything else, like a sports team. You can get all
Yeah,
great players together. That doesn't mean they're going to be great. Uh,
yeah,
you have to
right.
gel, and you have
Yeah.
to work with each other and bounce
Yeah.
things
I
off.
mean, I don't, each guy is not a virtuoso. We're not the greatest players, but we can hold our own. But it just, when you put it together, it,
Yeah,
it works.
it sure
Basically.
does, and it works great live, man.
Yeah. You've seen us, a couple times,
Oh,
right?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, oh yeah, and it's it all comes alive, man, and I think that's what a live show is. You have the studio record, which is really you
Yeah.
get it as tight as you need it, and make your sound, and then you bring
Right.
it to the live thing, and it brings it, it just flowers.
Yeah.
That bud just flowers up, and
Yeah.
it's
I mean, I love playing live a lot more than playing in the studio.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. I would imagine the studio can be tedious, getting it exactly right. But that live thing, so many guys I hear, they're trying to reproduce that exact thing in the studio, and
mm,
which is great. But for me, the live experience, that little bit of rawness, that
yeah.
mistake here and there, or that
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
smile and the chemistry between the two players, three
Right.
players, four players.
Yeah.
Uh, that's fun to watch.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it's
We're
all about.
definitely having a good time there, and it's a lot of fun. We're at this age in our career and all that stuff. We're just having fun. We just want to go up there and keep rocking.
Yeah,
You know?
it is a rocking show, and it is a lot of fun. And that's another thing, when a band's having fun on the stage, I have fun out there. If you're not having
Yeah,
fun, I'm probably not having fun, no matter
right.
what it sounds like. Uh,
Yeah,
so it
gotcha.
can sound pretty bad, but if you're having a good time doing it,
Yeah,
I'll have a good time. I mean,
right.
I've seen I think it was Kicks. Their sound went out, and there was no vocal. Uh,
Yeah,
and he had just had this shrug and big smile on his face, and he started playing with the other guys while
yeah,
they were playing, and
yeah,
was just having a good time. And I was having a good time, even though I
yeah.
couldn't. There was no vocal. I
Right.
I could appreciate what was
Yeah,
happening.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Yeah.
to the younger bands, to have a good time when you play live. That's what it's
That's it.
about, for
Yeah,
sure.
be uptight. Let's get up there and rock.
Yeah,
Right.
man. You guys do a cover of sensational Alex Harvey band,
Yeah,
Midnight Moses,
yeah,
for the
great.
Viking album.
Yeah.
That is an extraordinary song, and you guys just bring that. It's just so
I
great.
remember when my brother Matt brought that to us. He was just like, we're gonna do this cover. Alex Harvey Band. We go, who? He goes, Alex Harvey Band. And he put it on. Wow, it was some video of them at a festival. People look stoned out of their minds.
Yeah, yep.
Right? Yeah, it's why he goes, we're going to do our own twist to it. I said, yeah, all right, so we worked on it. Yeah, it's one of the favorites from the crowd. When we do it live. I mean, it's a
Oh,
great song.
yeah, it is. And I'd heard your version of it, and I don't know that
Yeah,
I had heard the Alex Harvey version. So
yeah,
I went back and listened to it, and it's a similar vibe, but man,
yep,
you guys just amp that thing up, and
yeah. It's a little different.
put that muscle in it, man. It's like, wow, what a great song.
Yeah,
Really cool. But
thank you.
I noticed Chris Glenn, bass player for Alex Harvey. Uh,
Mm,
I know him from Michael Schenker. He
okay.
played with Michael Schenker for a while. He had a band, oddly enough, ironically, Chris Glenn and the Outfit. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, which is pretty cool. I saw Chris Glenn in there, and I was like, he's the guy that had Chris Glenn in the Outfit,
wow.
years and years ago. But
Yeah,
yeah, that was pretty cool.
yeah,
Another band that you cover, of course, Cheap Trick. Uh,
yeah,
and you've talked about that. Hot Love, and
yeah.
Hello Kitties is on the new record.
Right.
First Cheap Trick album is your favorite.
Yeah, yeah. I
Uh,
mean, I mean, it's just raw, man, and aggressive. I mean, it's crazy. I mean,
it-
songs like "The Ballad of Teenage Violence." I mean, "Hot Love," "He's a Whore." I mean, it's crazy. It's just an aggressive record. It's not the most commercial record that you'll hear,
right.
but I don't think they really. I don't know what they sold in that record, but they once they got the Tom Warman, I mean, they polished them up. So
Yeah.
with Surrender and all that, and the In Color record and
Yeah.
Budokan kicked them off. So they, I don't think the band is a big fan of Tom Warman. I think I read that somewhere. I'm not sure. Um,
Yeah, we kind of had that conversation.
did you?
He
Yeah,
he loves them, and if he
yeah,
could do any other band again, he would. He said it would be Cheap Trick. I
hmm,
really love them, but yeah, there was a falling on lack of appreciation, kind of. He felt.
yeah,
He keeps in touch with Bunny, I think, once in a while. But
yeah,
yeah, and that was another thing with producers too is you're friendly with your producers. You
yeah.
know your producers. They're not just on the employee list.
No, yeah,
Not just on the payroll. They're actually friends.
right.
You value that relationship. Nah, I think
Yep,
that's part of the chemistry. I would say.
sure. Yep. I agree. I agree.
I saw another single from the Go record, Big Eyes. Reminded me, of course.
Well, you probably thought it was a Cheap Trick song.
I did, of course. I thought, wow, they're covering Big Eyes now. Moving on to the In Color record.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's not. Did you think about that when you titled the
Yeah,
titled
well,
the
it was
song?
weird because our singer Andy, wrote it and he sent it to me. I go, "What's this called?" Well, I knew what it was called because I heard the chorus. He goes, "Yeah, it's called Big Eyes." I was like, "Oh, that's kind of odd, because of Cheap Trick and all that."
Right.
But
Did he
I didn't.
did he realize that?
No, I don't think he realized it. No, because
Okay.
he likes Cheap Trick, but I don't think he's like as big as a fan as we are. But so I don't know. Yeah, I don't think he really realized it. Which is weird.
Which is makes it that much greater.
Yeah,
It's really
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
There is a Cheap Trick line that goes through the band,
Mhm.
even just organically.
Yeah, exactly.
It's pretty
Which is
cool.
weird.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, it is. Um, it's a really interesting song on this record.
Mm.
It's got a different vibe, intriguing lyric. Maybe you can tell me a little bit about it. Arrival of Jane.
Yeah, that's a left field song, but I love it. It's a
I do
little
too.
it's a little different.
Mhm.
But when we did it, I was telling the guys, I go, wow, this is off the wall for us. It kind of reminds me of, what I modeled the drums off of was kind of like Phil Collins from
Okay.
Genesis,
Yeah,
because it's kind of like that vibe, where it's kind of, an eerie, weird, like an alien kind of sound or something, we're going for. And that's kind of what the song's about. I think it's about, an alien or whatever. Jane's an alien from a different planet.
yeah,
So yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I love the song. It was a lot of fun to work on it and to play it and stuff. And I'm glad you like it because I
yeah.
wasn't sure what people would think of that. It's
Yeah.
like a
Yeah,
little
well,
different.
I saw it, and it has an interesting title. So, that drew me in. And then I'm not a big lyric guy.
Yeah,
I love the full package. I love a great instrumental with a
yeah,
great lyric and all of that. But, I can have an instrumental that drives the song, and I'm
yeah,
pretty happy with it. Uh,
yeah,
but that one, I wanted to, who is Jane and where is she arriving? And, I had it was intriguing to me. So
yeah.
I'm
He's
listening.
arriving from a different planet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And
basically.
I'm like, wow, this is just really different for you guys. Uh,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it was fascinating to me, and it's a great song too.
yeah,
So it was cool, and it's a saving the world kind of thing,
yeah,
and
yeah. It's
it's
awesome.
great. It's a positive vibe, and it's
Get in the car and crank that one up real loud. It's a good mix. Like,
it's really it's cool. It almost had like a not Pink Floyd-ish kind of thing, but an ethereal kind of atmospheric,
yeah,
psychedelic almost maybe kind
yeah.
of thing going on with it too.
Yeah,
Really an interesting song. It's pretty deep, pretty
that's
cool.
good. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Did Andy bring that one in? Uh,
Yeah, Andy brought that one in too. Yeah,
yeah,
he's a genius. He's a great
great song.
great writer. Yeah, great songwriter. I
Yeah,
mean, we all put our parts in, but he's the guy that's
brings in the
bringing.
melody.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's great. Yeah,
yeah.
and I mean, it's great to have a guy a guy like that.
Oh yeah.
Where, he can bring it in, and he doesn't mind when the song gets a little bent a certain way or twisted into.
Yeah, that's what happens once he brings it in, and
Right,
we do our outfit thing to it, and it turns into an outfit song. So sometimes it steers away from the demo somewhat, that he does, but
right.
he's always cool with it. He's like, yeah, man, let's do our thing. Let's make it happen. Make it an outfit song, right?
And that, again, part of the chemistry.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of songwriters who, this isn't anything like I wrote, and
yeah,
I don't like it, and I don't want to divert from that, and uh, that's to have that push and pull,
Andy's a cool dude. He's really good, and he's good with all that stuff. So
just awesome, man.
yeah.
Uh, we see the outfit tour. I know you guys, you got a lot going on, of course.
Really tough. We'd love to at some point, one day. At least we always talk about it. Let's get out and do like 3 weeks, or
Right, right.
let's
Yeah,
do something, But we may, in the future,
yeah,
get out there and do something. But right now we're just, getting ourselves put on shows that, where we can support people, and once in a while we'll do a little headline thing. But
yeah.
we got a couple shows coming up this summer. So
Yep, yep. Great show. What I'm really excited about, Patriots Fest.
yeah. Yeah.
18th here, around this area in Aurora, Illinois. Just a great cause.
Yep.
Really, really cool. And you got Nugent there.
Yeah.
Maybe one of his last shows. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah, yeah, Ted's playing, and I think Three Doors Down is on, and it's a mix. They got some country guys,
yeah, yeah,
it's kind of interesting. It's a different atmosphere. But they're talking about having a huge crowd. They're talking about maybe 7,000 people, maybe more. It's
wow,
going to be outdoors by the piazza there, but I guess they have a parking lot and another space or something where they actually put on outdoor concerts there. I've never been to the outdoor show there, but
me
uh,
either.
pretty big. I mean, vendors and food and all kinds of stuff. So
Great,
should be
man.
should be good. We'll be on early, so
Yeah, it's that's great. And
it's good to be on. Yeah. It's great to be on that
well,
bill.
yeah, and like I say, it's a great cause for veterans and stuff like that, and
Yep.
just doing great things. It's cool, and
Yep.
I look at the Go record,
Yeah.
the cover, and we've talked about off Broadway.
Yeah.
Uh, it reminded me instantly of the On record. I guess because the title is a two-letter word, On and Go.
Yeah.
But the light bulb.
It's funny because the whole concept of the Go title. I mean, my brother and I, we wanted to call the record "Unfinished Business," which is more of a mafia tone to
Right,
it.
right. The
And the
outfit.
other two, right, the other two guys went, I don't know about that, right? So, you know, Mike Gorman, who was in Off Broadway, he suggested we call the record "Go." you know? And I was like,
Nice.
yeah, yeah, because we had that, the song Andy wrote, Go, obviously it's on the record. And then I thought of, all right, what would be, let's just keep it real simple because the title's so simple. I said, we'll do like a traffic light, you know? That's what we'll do.
That's
And
cool.
I sent it to this artist I know, this guy Seven, his name's Seven Designs or whatever, but he came up with it and it was amazing and simple, but I like it. I got some compliments on the cover so far. Yeah.
Totally. I love it, man. And like I
Yeah.
said, it reminded me of, that On record, which is one of my favorite records. Also a Tom Werman record. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. That record but it is amazing. I mean,
Full
I,
Moon, turn my head around, man, and stay in touch.
yeah, I mean,
Just an
just
amazing,
the sounds on that record, like the drum sounds and everything,
ah,
and
just a
are
great,
amazing. And
great
the
pop.
drummer's amazing. Kenny Hart's a great drummer. I mean, there's some really good players in off Broadway,
Yep. Yep. It's sad that they didn't do more than they did.
They should have. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk about Pavement. Take me through the process. You're a kid, you're in a band with your brothers. Uh, what
Yeah, the way it happened.
you try and get
Yeah, basically,
signed. You don't make your own label. That's crazy.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
you did. How's that
basically
happen?
I was a musician, obviously, and I joined a band with my brothers, Oasis, back when I was 16, and they were older, like I said. So I was playing all the clubs around the city, Beginnings, Haymakers, and getting into
Wow.
all these places and doing shows. We were grinding it out. We were constantly in the studio recording. And the goal was to try to get signed, to try to get a record deal.
Like
So
like any other kid. And
yeah, I was a young kid. I was like, 19 or whatever. And
yeah.
grew into it at 19. And I was like, well, we got to try to get signed. And being, somewhat aggressive, I just took it on myself and I started calling record labels up in New York and just saying, hey, I wanted to get in person and meet with them and play him our demo. And funny that I was able to pull it off back in that day where I was calling up and I was using a different name even. I was like, hey, this is Mark Allen. I manage Oasis and I'm going to be in New York and I need to come in and blah, blah, blah. And I get myself in and I sat down with like pretty much Capitol Records, Bruce Garfield, sat down with Jason Flom at Atlantic, sat down with the guy at Chrysalis, sat down with the guy at A&M, Hernando Courtwright. I mean, I just kept going to New York and I started performing these. I got turned down. I mean, they played a tape, they'd listen to it. It was a cassette at that time. And they, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to pass. And we got close one time with EMI. This guy, Bob Curry, went out and met with him and he liked it. He's like, yeah, I like this. Can you, we're going to give you a little bit of money. Can you guys record? I just want you to go in the studio live, set up live and record, all your songs and we'll go from there. So we did, and we got it to him. Then he, right in the midst of that, he got fired from
Uh,
EMI.
of
Yeah.
course.
Which of course, right? Yeah, and went somewhere else, and then we never heard anything. So it was like,
Man.
damn, that didn't work. So anyway, I made all these connections doing that.
Yeah.
And started thinking to myself, well, maybe I should get at, I was talking to my wife, maybe I should get into the business side because it's really tough trying to make a living playing drums and, it's impossible. I'm
Yeah.
working a day job. I didn't like the day job I was doing. And it's like, it'd be great if I could just work in music, do that.
Yep.
So I was like, I was flipping through a magazine. I think it was, I don't know, the Entertainer or something. And I saw a picture of this band, Diamond Rex, and they all had the big hair, kind of looked like the Motley Crue
Like
style thing.
really, really big.
Really
I
big,
remember the
really
band.
a lot of Aquanet.
Yeah, totally.
And I was like to my wife, I go, let's go to the show and just check this band out. I want to see what's going on. And we went in there, and they're playing some small club in the city somewhere. And I remember seeing them, and they're kind of really raw, but they look so cool. "Ah, these guys look really cool." And I just told my wife, I go, I'm going to manage this band. She's like, "What? Are you fucking crazy?" And I said, nah, yeah, I think I see something here. I want to manage this band. So I approached the guys. I said, said who I was. I wanted to manage them. And they were game. They're like, they had nothing going on. And I said, let's get in the studio. And first we worked together, rehearsals, worked on their songs, all that. Then I said, let's get in the studio and let's produce an album. And I'm going to try to shop a finished master to these record label contacts I know. So I didn't really have any money. I had money. I just got married. So I took our wedding money, the gifts we got. It was about $6,000 and took that money and used it to record the record.
Wow.
So we did it at Tone Zone Studios in Chicago, off of Division and Clybourne, and did the record and said, all right, now time I'm going to go out and shop this to the majors. The band kept playing. We were booking more and more shows. Their draws were getting bigger, because they had the good show appeal and people were getting into it. And I went out to New York and I shopped them to everybody. I went to, Atlantic and Capital and all my connections, A&M everywhere. And then I brought it into I knew this guy in Chicago. I don't know if you knew him or not. This guy, Denny Nowak, he worked at Elektra Records. He worked at the regional in Bensonville here locally.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was like I made friends with him because I was always pedaling, trying to meet people and do things. And I met him, years prior, and I told him what I was doing. He goes, "Hey, you should really meet this guy, Lou Malia. He worked for Elektra, but now he's the president of Island Records, because I'll set you up a meeting, an appointment. Go and see him while you're in New York." I said, "All right." So I went in and met with Lou, president of Island Records, and I had a big poster of the band. I made, a photo of the band, held it up. He goes, "Oh man, these guys are crazy looking at." You
Yeah.
put in the tape, you listen to like, maybe a minute of it. And he looks at me and he's like, "I'm going to sign the band. You got a deal." So I said,
Wow. That's that easy.
yeah, I was like, "What?" I was in the elevator leaving. I was like jumping for joy,
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. And he signed the band and he gave us money for the record. We got our money back. I think the advance was like 10 or 15 grand at that time in the 80s. And
Yeah.
he said, we're going to push it. They did. They had ads all over the place and all the big magazines and this and that. But the band really never made it, past that point. It's kind of like a typical Chicago story, like with Off Broadway or these other bands. They were a big draw here. We were selling out,
Yeah.
to Metro. We were doing 2 shows at the Thirsty Whale, selling that out to Metro. But we could never get any traction to get it outside of Chicago. It was just like a Chicago kind of thing. And so once that happened, the band sold like 25,000 albums. And I got the call from Island saying, we're going to drop the band. They didn't sell enough, blah, blah, blah. And that's when I said, you know what? I'm going to start a record company.
There
Yep.
you go.
Yep. And that I'm going to start a record company with the purpose of putting out the next time and Rex record. And I started, the label was called Red Light Records at that time.
Right. Right. Right.
Way
Yep.
back. It's before Pavement. Yeah. So it was called
Great.
Red Light Records. And I
Man.
got a distribution deal with important record distributors, which was
This is
basically, yeah.
another record on Red Light, right?
Yeah, I did that.
Dope
Yeah.
record.
Yep, yeah, Barry Stern. Yep.
Yeah. 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 My brother went to school, was at Sen, high school with Barry. Uh,
Yeah.
I think,
Barry actually worked at Pavement for a while too.
yeah.
He's passed away now, but
Yeah.
he was a really sadly, I mean, he was a really good guy, nice guy. But yeah, so we had Red Light. That was my first label. So I started Red Light. And I started that with my cousin Dominic, who was an attorney, because he gave me the seed money to get it going. So I was able to get out of my regular job and went to Dominic. He goes, "I'll give you some." He gave me 5 grand. He goes, "I'll give you 5 grand. You could start the label." So we did, and we started building things. And we found out like the commercial stuff wasn't really selling well. I mean, like the Diamond Rex stuff or Joker, or these bands we were doing, they were kind of hair metal bands.
Right.
So we started getting into that extreme stuff, like the, grindcore music and all that. We started having success with that, and then we brought in heavier bands like Yitro, Broken Hope was a band out of Gurney. So yeah, stuff like that. And that started going. And unfortunately I had a disagreement with Dominic, my partner. And I was the point where, you know what, I just want to be on my own. I want to have my own thing, and coming full circle, going back, I find out Lou Malia, the guy who helped me at Island Records that signed Diamond Rex,
Right.
went to BMG in LA and became the bigwig at BMG with Zoo. And we stayed friendly, over the years. And
Right.
I went out there and I pitched him. I just said, "Hey man, I'm starting my own label. I'm gonna call it Pavement. Are you interested? I got this band Crowbar that I want to launch it with these guys in New Orleans. I'm sure you know who they are. But
Yeah.
so Lou saw my vision and he was like, "Yeah." He goes, let's do it because I'll give you a deal through BMG. You can, be distributed by us. You'll be funded by us. I mean, it was a dream, like the whole shot. So
Oh no.
my office in Oak Brook, we had a staff of like 6 or 7 people. We had financing from, the big conglomerate, BMG Zoo.
Yep.
Uh, we started making things happen, with Crowbar, and that was how Pavement, you know, kind of launched out. So
Just awesome, man. And I have another record here, one of my favorite records that you were involved with, right? The Crowbar
yeah,
guys.
yeah, because what happened with that one is the two members of Crowbar, Todd Strange and Kirk Winstein, were signed to Pavement exclusively. We had like a 7 album deal or something crazy, and uh, the manager of Down called me up. I think it was Walter O'Brien at the time, and he was like, "We want to use Kirk and Todd, for this band Down." And I go, "Yeah, well, it's gonna take away from Crowbar a little bit." I said, "So we can work something out. I'm all for it." And yeah, so we worked a deal out with Elektra, it was the label, and they gave me some money up front for to let them appear or whatever. They paid those guys, and then they also gave us a couple points on the record in perpetuity. So I'm still getting residuals, royalties on that record, on the Down record.
As it
Um,
should be. Yeah.
yeah, well, it's been years and years, but every 6 months it's there. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's great, man. And that's
yeah,
I mean, that's what it's about. That's a respectful way to do things,
yeah, it was a smart business move back
Yep.
then.
Yep.
Thinking back all that time, you
Yeah.
know, yeah, I think I made a pretty good deal there.
Totally. Totally. They were produced by Phil Anselmo, right? Pantera?
Crowbar, yeah,
Yeah.
Crowbar was, yeah. Like Kirk and Phil knew each other because I think they went to high school together in New Orleans. And
Okay.
when I signed Crowbar, Kirk's like, "What would you think if Phil produces a record?" I go, "I think that'd be amazing."
Yeah.
So I flew down there and met with Phil a few times at his house, and we just started going for it. We just started recording the record, and him producing it, and came
Good.
out great. And we got a lot of noise going with, Beavis and Butthead,
Right. Right.
uh, and that's a crazy story because I was in my office in Oak Brook, and I was just like, what can we do at Crowbar? And that show just started, Beavis and Butthead. I go, you know what? These guys are so crazy looking. I bet you this guy, Mike Judge, would be into this. So at
Total.
the time, I wrote a handwritten letter to Mike Judge and threw the Crowbar album in, and I threw the video in, and I just sent it off to MTV, to him and MTV. And I didn't get any response back, but a couple months later, uh, this girl that worked for me came in the office. She's like, "Mark, I saw Crowbar on Beavis and Butthead." I'm like, what? So they put them on, and once that happened, it really started, sales really started excelling.
Yeah.
When they got on Beavis and Butthead, then we had Headbangers Ball playing the video, and that's when the Pantera tour presented itself too. So it was like the perfect storm. So you had all the stuff going
Total.
on. Went out and we sold a lot of records. So it was
Yeah.
a good time.
That's
And
great.
I proved myself to BMG. They were all happy. I was the golden boy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He'd be yelling at his people. How could this guy do all this on such a low budget? We're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? We're doing videos for like 5 grand.
Right. Right.
We're spending like, 150, 200 grand on video.
Hey,
Yeah.
it's content. It's not really about the flash a lot of times.
Right.
How much you can spend on something. It's about the content. And you just had a
Right.
great band that people were interested in seeing and hearing. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
they were unique. They were unique. He's still got Crowbar going today. It's still going.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's Kirk, the original singer, but I think everybody else is different. But I stay in touch with him and Todd a little bit, so we still talk. So
That's cool. That's
cool
cool.
that they're still going. You know.
Yeah, kind of the pioneers, one of the pioneers of that kind of heaviness,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Pantera-like thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately, what happened with BMG is they sold the label I was connected with was Zoo Entertainment, and it was the label that Lou handled, and they ended up selling that label off and got rid of Lou and got rid of everybody. And Lou warned me ahead of time. He goes, "Hey, it's going to come to an end because they're cleaning house, they're selling the label."
Yeah.
Um, but you could keep all your masters, do whatever you want to do. And he gave me a warning and actually gave me 6 months of income and money so we wouldn't fold. Right.
That's cool. That's
Yeah,
cool.
he was really a great guy. So yeah, that happened, and then once it folded out, I just kind of like we had some things happen around here, and we ended up moving to Arizona for a while, and was living in Arizona for 13 years, and kind of stopped Pavement, and then was dabbling. I was managing Brian Head Welch from Korn for a while.
Right.
Uh, when he did his whole Christian thing, and he was trying to do a solo record, so I helped him get that record out, got distribution through Warner Music Group, and we did all that for a while. And then when I moved back to Chicago, I wanted to get Pavement back, going. And I've been friends with Tim King for forever from Soil, and we were just brainstorming at lunch one day. He's like, "Hey, I know a lot of these, more commercial bands because I tour with them and stuff, and this and that." He goes, "What about Resurrect and Pavement?" I said, "Yeah, let's do it." So that was like 12 years ago,
Yeah.
and it's
And
still
it's
going.
great. Yep. And going strong, man.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a great roster. It's just so many things. You got the legacy artists, like with Nugent. But you have, bands like Plush.
yeah,
This great young band that's doing so well. It's great to have that kind of thing on a label where
yeah.
you bring it in every.
Yeah, it's refreshing to have Plush because it's something we worked really hard on to build, building a new talent and a new band and new legacy with a career like that going. And the other group bands are great. It's great to have legacy bands, like Puddle of Mudd and
Yeah,
Candlebox and all that stuff. But it's really exciting when you discover something new and you can expose it and people are reacting to it.
yeah, yeah. And Plush, man, they're going on their first headlining tour here. It's starting really soon.
Is
It's I've seen the band 9 times now, and it's just they're
yeah.
extraordinary,
Yeah, and
extraordinary.
what's even greater is that ticket sales are going great. All the promoters are real happy. I mean, we sold out New Jersey, we sold out the basement in Nashville. We're close to sellouts in Massachusetts, Baltimore. I mean, we're not talking huge rooms, but they're good clubs. They're club size rooms, and
Yeah,
that's the way I see that. You gotta it's slow and steady. Let's keep building and building, and before you know it, you'll be playing bigger rooms. You'll be playing 1,000 seat theaters and selling those out.
totally. And I talk about content. That's there's no band that has more content than that, man.
Right.
That is a band that has great songs, great musicianship. They have a great look. They're
Yep.
great people with great families. Just have everything going in the right direction. They have great.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
and that's why the last tour with Disturbed, we actually brought on a photographer, videographer to go out and do double duty. Like he was helping driving, but he also was shooting stuff. This is a young kid, who was out there
he
shooting
did a
video. That's great.
phenomenal job.
Yeah,
He did a
yeah,
phenomenal job. As a photographer, I'm looking and I'm like, this guy's good. He is
yeah.
good. Uh,
Matt, yeah, good
yeah,
guy.
he did, and a great video he put out. It just all that stuff was really great. It was great to see that video come together like that too.
Yeah,
Uh,
thanks.
yeah, it's great. I love seeing that, knowing Mariah for so long. That she's with somebody like yourself and Pavement, and it's taking care of her and putting her where she so
Yeah,
deserves to be. All those girls are just great.
trying
Uh,
to steer in the right direction and keep it going, strong. So.
yeah, yeah, and so many opportunities. I've seen them with so many people. And so
We've
many.
been blessed with like so many bands, taking a liking to them, and we're talking big bands, like Evanescence,
Yeah,
Third, Hailstorm. I mean, they've toured. I met Daughtry backstage in Nashville. He was there saying hi to him. I mean, all these big artists just fall in love with him and they like him, you know. And
Yeah, and Disturbed, of course. David bringing her out for their song, to sing, a part that Ann Wilson is on for the
yeah,
record.
they had a great time on that tour. They really loved everybody on the tour. The band Disturbed, top notch, first class people, treated everybody really well, you know.
Yeah, another
No beat
local band, kind of.
amazing, you know, great. So
Really great, really great. And they're younger. They're not a younger band, but a newer band on the label, Images of Eden.
yeah,
Bands. Love that band. Those guys, great.
good
Uh,
guys.
Going out with Soil.
Yeah, they're going to Europe.
They're
Yeah.
going back to Europe, and I was so disappointed. They got
They
the
had a bad
West tour.
experience with the last Wasp tour. And it
Yeah,
was a probably shouldn't really talk about it, but it wasn't a good situation what happened
right,
to him. It
right.
was
And I
it was
mean,
BS what happened to him, you know. But they're great guys. I mean, Steve, I mean, genuine guy, Gordon. I mean, those guys are so cool, you know. So I love helping them and I love getting behind those guys and
same here, same
making
here.
things happen for them. So yeah, so even Tim, I mean, that's why Tim, you know, invited him on the soil tour. So they're going to be going out there and
Yep.
doing that. So that should be great for him, you know.
So happy for them. They had me out to shoot for 4 shows on the Michael Schenker tour, and
Yeah.
they're so much fun to photograph. There's great live. They just have this intensity about them too. Great songs.
You
Uh,
know what it is? They love what they're doing. They just love to play and they want to play and they want to do it, you know.
and they have
Kind
a
of
message.
kind of like the outfit situation, you know, it's like that. These guys are just they love it, you know, and they
Yep.
want to do it. So
And they have a great positivity and a great message too.
always.
Not really a Christian band, I'd say, but a band of Christians. And they have
Yeah, but they don't really preach it in their
no,
music.
no, they just want to lift you up, and
Yeah.
it's a really, they want to be there for you.
Yeah.
And that's a really cool thing. Really, really a positive experience seeing them and being around those guys. Really great. Nugent, you got on the label. Is this it for Nuge? Uh,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, at his age and stuff, I mean, I think he doesn't want to tour. I know that because, you know, it's taxing and, you know, it's a lot, you know, to put that together. So I think he's just doing one-off shows here and there, you know, kind of doing jam sessions and that kind of thing. I did have a talk with him about potentially doing an instrumental record. He was talking about that
wow,
he might be interested in doing a guitar record, which is I thought was kind of interesting, you know. We talked about that backstage at the Arcada when we played with him. But yeah, I mean, that was a great when the outfit opened for Nugent. We did those 3 shows. That
yeah,
was amazing. It's like, it was the right crowd for it. The crowd was
yep.
raging and it was nuts, you know. So we were lucky enough where he invited us to play. We did 2 shows at the Arcada and then one show at Displays Theater. It was a great experience, you know.
That's a
But
great
I don't know.
match.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if he'll do another record or not. You know, I really don't know.
I'd
But
love to hear an instrumental record from him because I think, he's associated with so many other things than his guitar playing. He's associated
yeah,
with his politics and sometimes his silly
yeah,
lyrics a lot of
yeah,
times,
yeah.
his wildness, personality. But his guitar playing is extraordinary, man. He is a great
He's
guitar player.
amazing, man. If you listen to this guy, he's like, you know, I was watching an old clip the other day that popped up on YouTube. It was a damn Yankees clip. They were
Yeah.
playing in like the Late Show or Tonight Show or something, and he was just up there ripping. It's like,
I mean, and
whoa, you
so
know?
much style too. And I was listening to the Amboy Duke stuff last night
Yeah,
too, taking a deep dive, and I'm like, this guy is just. I mean, he is virtuoso type. You know,
yep,
he could play a classical type thing too.
yeah,
Yeah, I'd love to hear a guitar record from him, man.
yeah.
That
It'd be interesting.
focuses on that. Yeah, it really would. It really
So
would.
maybe we'll see. I don't know if it'll ever materialize, but we did talk about it. So
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool to know that he's somewhat interested at least.
oh
Uh,
yeah,
really cool.
yeah,
Art of Anarchy, another one.
yeah. Good
Just
band.
been here for about 7 times. I think he's my most return guest. I love that guy dearly.
An amazing singer, man.
Ah,
Unbelievable. Got
he,
Soto, man.
he can do anything, man. Uh,
Yep.
and Bumblefoot was just on to
Another great guy,
sweet,
Ron,
sweet,
the coolest
sweet
guy in the
person.
world. Yeah. Yeah. Coolest guy in the world. Really nice guy and very talented. I mean, amazing.
Oh yeah, to see those guys together again, they did the Sons of
Yeah.
Apollo thing.
Yeah.
Thank you for putting them and hosting them for Art of Anarchy.
Yeah, it's going pretty well. Record's doing pretty good. And they just got done with some dates. They did some dates recently. So,
It's great,
yeah.
man. It's
Yeah.
great. Pavement just giving us great music, man. It's
We're trying, you
appreciate
know.
it, man. We appreciate it. All this stuff you've done, and you got the band, and you're a rock star. You got the label.
I wouldn't say that.
But I mean, you've had a lot of your dreams come true, I would imagine. Is
Mhm.
there something, something on the bucket list? Is there something still there that you're looking to
I don't
accomplish?
know. I think I've accomplished a lot and
Totally.
not really sure, man. I think just relaxation on a beach.
There you go, man. That's so. I love hearing that, man. I'll ask that question sometimes of guys, and
I'll never
especially.
retire. I'll never retire. So, I'll always be, I'm that kind of personality where I got to be moving and doing things, so I'll never fully retire or anything like that. But, just if you could carve some time out and, I got a place in Florida, so we go down there sometimes and
Yep,
hang out for, a week or two or a month, come back
it's great, man.
basically. Yeah.
Yep, a little refresh. It's great to hear that you don't long for anything and you're content and doing well. And I always love to hear that, man. That's great. It's great. Uh,
Mm.
pavementmusic.com. The outfit's going to be at Patriots Fest on May 18th at the Piazza in Aurora, Illinois. You catch the outfit on random tour dates here and there,
And
probably.
we're also doing Rock the Fox in August 3rd.
It's
The second.
Carpentersville, is it?
Yeah, second or third. Yeah. Yeah. And it's going to be a good one because we're doing like I said, we usually support, but we're still supporting, but we're doing like an hour and a half set. So it'll be,
Wow.
we'll probably be playing our full catalog. Be a good one to catch. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I will.
Yeah.
I'll be there. I'll be around for sure. Yeah, Mark, it's been a blast, man.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you having me on and talking about all this stuff.
Yeah, man, it's great. It's a lot of fun, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Definitely at Patriots Fest, and and the
Yeah.
other date for the outfit, and
Yep.
we'll talk some more, man.
All right, man. Thank
All
you
right,
very much. All
Mark,
right.
I
See you.
appreciate you.
All right, Scott. See you
All right,
later.
see ya.
Bye.
Bye.